I know my customers. That's what I do. I know Pelosi. I know Schumer very well. They don't want to make a deal because they know that's good for the economy. And if they make a deal that's good for the economy, and therefore it's good for me for the election in November 3rd, and therefore they're not going to make a deal.
Welcome back. The Senate returns from recess today after months of a partisan stalemate over a second coronavirus relief bill.
The Democrats call the Republican proposal a non-starter, but the Trump administration says they're leaving Americans out to dry in order to help Joe Biden win the election. What will it take for both parties to come together and get this done? Will they? Joining us live is member of the GOP Doctors Caucus, Congressman Michael Burgess. Congressman, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, the burning question, do we see a deal anytime in the near future?
There will be a deal sometime in the future. How near it is, can't quite tell you. Look, the problem here is we've done 3.5 bipartisan response bills to this coronavirus, and it's only been since Speaker Pelosi decided she wanted everything on the table at once last May that the negotiations came to a halt. But prior to that, there'd been good work with both sides working together. And it kind of came to a crashing halt. I don't know why. I don't know why Speaker Pelosi would see value in not having some of these things that have been talked about for the past several weeks. There are a number of things that we could come together on and probably get done pretty quickly. Look, Congress is back in this week, but we're only really partly back in. We'll be doing a so-called markup in Energy and Commerce Committee. Republicans will be there. Democrats won't. There'll be other TV screens. It really is no way to run a business right now.
Congressman, here is what your colleagues in the Senate, the Republican colleagues, that is, in the Senate want or are proposing. It's $500 billion targeted stimulus. It includes $300 of weekly unemployment benefits, school funding, small business loans, coronavirus testing and vaccines, liability protection, and $10 billion in funding for the Postal Service. Is that enough to help the American people?
Well, it's the next step. Look, here's the problem. We're not really even doing any of the hearings to ask the questions to have that knowledge that this is the appropriate response at this time, at least on the House side. Now, they have been meeting on the Senate side when we haven't, but it really has been it's been one of the most dysfunctional summers I've ever encountered, and I put that at the top. I mean, you have a leader of the House of Representatives who's just literally put a marker out there last May and said we're not talking about anything else, and knew good and well that the marker that they put out there last May was a non-starter. 12 of their folks voted against it last May.
Let's talk about Texas here for a second. Democrats hoping to flip Texas blue. And in fact, Joe Biden had a 5-point edge in early July. But if you look at one of the latest polls, this is from the Dallas Morning News, you'll see that lead has tightened and President Trump, in fact, has the edge here with 2 percentage points over Joe Biden. This is among likely Texas voters. What do you think ends up happening in Texas?
Texas is Trump country. I didn't believe the polls a few weeks ago. The president does do extremely well here, and I think I think that's just going to become more obvious. The amount of dollars that are likely to be spent by Democrats in Texas is going to dwindle. There may be a race or two here where they think they can pick someone off, but by and large, the state is not doing what they advertised earlier in the election year, and Texas is going to perform for the president, as you would expect.
Okay, I know you said you weren't such a fan of the July poll, but was there something in August you think that really did help the president?
Well, I think the law and order message in general, it was people were startled by what they were seeing. People are startled by what they are seeing in some of the other cities. They don't want that for their cities here. Texas, in spite of the pandemic and in spite of the economic downturn, the economy in Texas still has been functioning. We're going to get this darn vaccine, and my prediction is right at the end of October, beginning of November.
Okay.
It is going to be a game changer. It really is. But you see people beginning to develop the confidence and doing it in a smart way. No large gatherings, and yes, people are using their face masks. Social distancing is still followed. We all wash our hands a lot more times than we think is necessary. But it does seem to be working. The high point of whatever it was, July 22nd in Texas, seems to have moderated. The big problem with community spread in some of the communities in the southern part of the state was difficult to tackle, but I believe that that has come under control.
Right.
And here's the other thing: convalescent plasma. If they hadn't had convalescent plasma down in the lower Rio Grande Valley, really would have had very few tools to treat, because the high dose steroids that other people are using, that's tough to use in a diabetic population.
We're going to have you on to talk about all the doctor stuff at another time, because you are a doctor in addition to being Congressman Michael Burgess. We appreciate your time this morning.
Great.
Also